Pain is not your enemy, it is your hidden ally. Pain is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign that something inside you is being prepared for transformation. Every successful person who ever walked the earth has been familiar with pain. They have wrestled with it, cried through it, prayed through it, and in the process, found themselves refined like gold in a furnace. When pain enters your life, it does not come to destroy you, it comes to develop you. The greatest mistake we can make is to run away from it, to numb it, or to resent it. Pain has a purpose. It carries a message from destiny that says, there is more in you than what you are living right now. When you face pain, you are standing on the edge of something divine. It may not feel like it at first. Pain will make you question your strength, your faith, and even your identity. But if you dare to stay in the process, you will discover that pain is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. Like a seed that must break before it grows, you too must go through breaking moments before you can bloom. The soil must feel dark, the pressure must feel heavy, but in that hidden place, life is forming. Do not despise the breaking. Do not curse the storm. The same pain that hurts you today is preparing you to handle tomorrow's blessing. When you learn to use pain as an opportunity, you begin to think differently. You no longer ask, why me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? You start to see pain as a classroom where you are taught lessons that comfort could never teach. You realize that every tear is watering a seed of strength, every disappointment is sharpening your discernment, and every delay is building your patience. Pain has a way of removing what is unnecessary so that what is essential can emerge. It purifies your motives, deepens your faith, and teaches you to rely not on what you see, but on what you believe. The place of pain becomes the place of preparation. Success birthed without pain is fragile. It cannot stand the test of time. But success that comes through pain carries depth, wisdom, and humility. Those who have walked through pain carry a fragrance of grace that cannot be imitated. They are not easily shaken because they have already survived what should have broken them. When you use pain correctly, you transform it into power. The very thing that was meant to bury you becomes the foundation on which you build your future. You begin to thank God not just for the victories, but for the struggles that shaped your character and strengthened your vision. Look at history. Every world changer had a moment of deep pain that pushed them to their destiny. The pain of rejection gave birth to innovation. The pain of failure created resilience. The pain of loss awakened compassion. You are no different. The pain you feel now may be the birthplace of your greatest achievement. The thing that hurt you most might be the very thing that heals others through you. Pain makes you relatable, authentic, and powerful. It gives you a story that can inspire generations, so don't run from it. Embrace it. When you wake up in pain, tell yourself something good is being born in me. When you are misunderstood, rejected, or betrayed, whisper, this is my training ground. When everything seems to fall apart, stand tall and declare, my pain will become my platform. Pain is temporary, but what it produces in you is eternal. You may be in the fire, but you are not burning, you are being forged. You may be in the storm, but you are not drowning, you are being strengthened. The pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Every scar you carry can become a testimony of victory. Every wound can become wisdom. Every trial can become triumph. Use your pain as an opportunity for success. Let it push you higher, not pull you down. Let it teach you perseverance, not bitterness. Let it remind you that greatness is not built in comfort but in challenge. And one day when you stand on the mountain of success, you will look back at the valley of pain and realize it was there that you found your wings. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation for your next level. So many people misunderstand pain and treat it as a curse, when in truth it is a divine instrument of transformation. Pain is not a signal that you have failed. It is often a sign that you are being stretched, molded, and refined for something greater. When life becomes uncomfortable, it usually means you are being repositioned for a higher purpose. You may not see it while you are in the midst of it, but pain has a way of pulling out of you what comfort never could. It shakes off complacency, exposes hidden strength, and awakens dormant potential that has been sleeping inside you. Every person who has ever grown, achieved, or overcome has walked through a season of pain that prepared them for what was coming next. Pain prepares you by humbling you. It strips away the illusion of control and teaches you to depend on something higher than your own ability. When things fall apart and you cannot fix them, that's when faith becomes real. Pain makes you pray differently, think differently, and live differently. It has a way of clearing your vision and showing you what truly matters. The pain that feels like it's breaking you is often the very thing that's building you. In the furnace of affliction, character is forged and purpose is defined. When life squeezes you, what's inside of you comes out. If faith is in you, pain will bring it forth. If strength is in you, pain will reveal it. Pain prepares your heart to carry what your destiny demands. There are levels in life that require more maturity, more patience, and more wisdom, and pain is the classroom where these lessons are taught. Every new level requires a new version of you, and pain is the tool that shapes that version. You cannot enter your next level with the same mindset that brought you this far. Pain challenges your thinking, breaks your pride, and removes your excuses. It teaches you endurance, and endurance builds trust. You begin to see that what you thought was punishment was actually positioning. The delay, the disappointment, the betrayal, the failure, all of it was preparing you to handle what's next without breaking under pressure. Pain has a refining power that nothing else can match. Just like gold must go through fire to be purified, your soul must go through trials to shine. Without the fire, the impurities remain. Without the challenge, the weaknesses stay hidden. But when you embrace the process, you emerge stronger, wiser, and more grounded. Pain does not take something from you, it gives something to you. It gives you insight, resilience, and perspective. It teaches you empathy because once you have suffered, you understand the suffering of others. You stop judging people by their wounds because you've learned what it means to bleed and still believe. The truth is, God never wastes pain. Every tear, every sleepless night, every heartbreak has a purpose. You might not see it now, but every painful experience is preparing you for a greater assignment. Pain often precedes promotion. Before elevation comes testing, and before destiny comes discipline. The moment you stop seeing pain as punishment, you start seeing growth where others see loss. The things you thought were breaking you are often the very things building your foundation for greatness. Pain pushes you to depend on strength beyond your own, and in that dependence, you find the power to rise again. ChatGPT said, "Every struggle carries a hidden lesson meant to shape your destiny. Nothing you go through in life is wasted. Every battle, every setback, every disappointment has a lesson buried within it, waiting to be discovered. But the lesson is never found on the surface. It reveals itself only to those who are willing to look deeper, to reflect instead of react, to grow instead of give up. Struggles are the universe's way of sculpting you into the person you are meant to become. Each challenge chisels away at what is unnecessary, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of carrying the weight of your purpose. What feels like loss is often a lesson in disguise, and what seems like chaos is often divine construction at work. When you are in the middle of a struggle, your first instinct may be to escape it, to pray it away, to wish it never happened. But sometimes the struggle is not there to destroy you. It is there to teach you something that comfort never could. Struggle teaches you to think differently, to adapt, to persevere, and to believe even when nothing around you makes sense. It teaches you discipline, endurance, and resilience. It reminds you that success is not given, it is developed through persistence. You learn through the struggle what no classroom could ever teach. When life becomes difficult, it is often because you are being upgraded in your understanding, strengthened in your faith, and prepared for a new chapter of destiny. Every great person has gone through seasons of struggle where they questioned everything. They questioned their strength, their direction, and their purpose. But in the midst of that confusion, a revelation was born. It is in struggle that clarity often emerges. When everything is stripped away, you discover what truly matters. When the noise fades, you hear your inner voice. When doors close, you are forced to find new paths. Struggle teaches you innovation. It teaches you creativity. It forces you to find answers within yourself that you never knew existed. The pressure you feel is not random, it is purposeful. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and destinies are shaped in difficulty. Struggles also teach humility. They remind you that you cannot do everything alone, that there is a greater force guiding your steps. You begin to see that what you thought was a setback was really divine redirection. The closed door that frustrated you was protecting you from something not meant for you. The failure that embarrassed you was setting the stage for a breakthrough you could not yet see. Every struggle carries a sacred instruction, a coded message meant only for you. Some lessons are painful, but they are also powerful. They remove pride with patience and replace fear with faith. The moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" is the moment your struggle starts serving your destiny. The lessons that come through struggle are often the foundation of your success. They give you stories to tell, wisdom to share, and courage to stand when others fall. Every scar becomes a symbol of survival, every delay becomes a divine setup, and every difficulty becomes preparation for a greater victory. Struggle introduces you to yourself. It shows you how strong, capable, and resilient you really are. Without struggle, you would never discover the depth of your strength or the power of your faith. Each time you overcome, you grow. Each time you endure, you evolve. And with every struggle you survive, your destiny becomes clearer, your purpose becomes stronger, and your character becomes unshaken. The place of your deepest pain can become the birthplace of your greatest power. Pain often enters your life uninvited, and it shakes the very ground you stand on. It can come through loss, betrayal, failure, rejection, or heartbreak. But beneath the surface of that pain lies a seed of transformation. What seems unbearable today can become the very source of your strength tomorrow. The same situation that wounded you can one day become the story that empowers others. Pain opens a door that comfort keeps closed. It invites you to dig deeper, to search for purpose in the ashes, and to rise from what was meant to bury you. Many people try to escape their pain, but the secret is to face it, to learn from it, and to allow it to become the fuel that drives you forward. When you reach your lowest point, something powerful happens within you. You realize that the things you once depended on cannot save you. You stop pretending to be strong and begin to draw strength from something deeper. Pain strips away illusions and reveals truth. It teaches you what truly matters and who truly cares. In those moments when life feels shattered, when your heart feels too heavy to carry, you are being reshaped. Your tears are not wasted. They water the ground where new beginnings will grow. Your heartbreak becomes a turning point, your weakness becomes your teacher, and your suffering becomes sacred soil where wisdom and resilience take root. The place that once represented defeat can transform into the place where victory is born. Pain also awakens gifts you didn't know you had. It pushes you into new directions and forces you to discover parts of yourself that were asleep. The very things that brought you to your knees can teach you how to stand taller. Some of the world's greatest songs were written out of heartbreak. The most powerful messages came from seasons of struggle, and the strongest leaders were once broken by pain. They found their voice in their suffering, their calling in their crisis, and their strength in their sorrow. Pain has a mysterious way of giving birth to purpose. When you allow your pain to teach you instead of torment you, it becomes your greatest teacher. It is often in your darkest nights that you discover your brightest light. Pain pushes you closer to your Creator, humbles your heart, and makes you more compassionate toward others. You begin to see the world through different eyes. The same hurt that once made you bitter can now make you better. The wound that once made you cry can now make you care. You begin to use your story to heal others, to inspire them, to remind them that if you survived, so can they. What was once your weakness becomes your weapon. What was once your breakdown becomes your breakthrough. The power you gain from pain is not loud or boastful. It is steady, quiet, and unshakable. It gives you the strength to keep walking when you feel like quitting, to keep believing when the evidence says otherwise. It anchors you. It reminds you that you are more than what happened to you, that your identity is not your pain, but what you've become through it. The deepest pain carries the potential to birth the deepest power because it breaks you open and allows life to flow through you again. What once made you fall becomes the reason you rise, and the place where you once felt powerless becomes the very platform where your strength is revealed. Success born through pain carries strength, wisdom, and endurance. There is a kind of success that is built on ease, shortcuts, and comfort, but that kind of success rarely lasts. Then there is a success that is forged through tears, built through sleepless nights, and refined through adversity. This kind of success cannot be shaken because it was not handed to you. It was earned through struggle. When you have been through pain, you carry something inside you that those who have only known comfort can never understand. Pain gives your success depth. It gives you appreciation, gratitude, and perspective. It teaches you to value the small victories because you know what it costs to win. When pain is part of your story, you don't just rise, you grow. You don't just succeed, you evolve. Pain teaches you discipline, the kind that keeps you moving when motivation disappears. It trains your character to stand firm when challenges arise. You no longer panic in adversity because you've already been through worse. You develop a calm confidence that no storm can shake because you know how to navigate through darkness. Pain teaches you patience because you learn that real growth cannot be rushed. You understand that the process is just as important as the promise. You stop chasing easy victories and start building lasting ones. The success that emerges from pain carries roots that go deep. It can withstand seasons of drought, storms of criticism, and the winds of change. Pain also brings wisdom that can't be taught in books. When you have suffered, you begin to see through things differently. You discern people's motives more clearly. You make decisions with humility and empathy because you understand what it feels like to fall. Pain refines your judgment. It removes arrogance and teaches you to stay grounded even when success elevates you. The lessons learned through pain become the guardrails that keep you from self-destruction when success arrives. You know how to handle rejection because you've lived through it. You know how to stay humble because you've known loss. You know how to encourage others because you've felt hopeless yourself. This wisdom becomes the foundation of your leadership, the core of your influence, and the secret behind your longevity. Endurance is another gift pain gives to those who refuse to quit. Endurance is the power to keep walking even when you're tired, to keep believing when you're disappointed, to keep showing up when no one notices. Pain teaches you that the process is not always beautiful, but it is always necessary. Endurance is born when you realize that quitting will hurt more than pushing through. It's in those seasons of pain that your spirit learns resilience, your mind learns focus, and your heart learns perseverance. When you finally reach success, it means more because you remember what it took to get there. Every scar reminds you of how far you've come. Every wound that healed reminds you that you can survive again if you must. The kind of success that comes through pain is not fragile, it is tested. It's the kind of success that can weather betrayal, endure loss, and still keep moving forward with grace. Pain doesn't just prepare you to achieve, it prepares you to maintain. It builds endurance for the journey ahead, so when new challenges appear, you don't crumble under the weight of them. You stand firm because you know how to fight through fire. True success is not measured by comfort but by the capacity to keep going when comfort disappears. Pain doesn't steal your success, it shapes it, strengthens it, and sanctifies it so that when you arrive at your victory, you have not only achieved something great but also become someone greater. Transform pain into purpose by letting it refine, not define your journey. Pain has a way of trying to label you, to convince you that you are broken, defeated, or unworthy. But pain is not meant to define who you are, it is meant to refine who you are becoming. It is the fire that burns away fear, pride, and doubt so that what remains is strength, wisdom, and resilience. When you choose to let pain refine you, you turn what was once a wound into a source of wisdom. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin asking, "What is shaping in me?" That shift changes everything. Pain becomes a tool of transformation, not a mark of defeat. It no longer holds you back, it pushes you forward. When you allow pain to refine your journey, you begin to see that everything you've gone through has a reason. The tears you've cried, the betrayals you've endured, the failures you've faced, all of it can serve a higher purpose. Every painful experience has the potential to produce something meaningful if you don't let it make you bitter. Bitterness freezes your growth, but refinement fuels it. The refining process is not easy, it's uncomfortable, humbling, and often lonely. But it strips away what no longer serves you and reveals what truly matters. You begin to understand that your pain was never sent to stop you. It was sent to shape you into the person who can fulfill your purpose. The fire that feels like destruction is often the fire that purifies your heart for destiny. Transforming pain into purpose also means using what hurt you to help others. When you rise from pain with understanding, you carry healing in your hands. The same experiences that once broke you become bridges for others who are still struggling. Your story becomes a source of strength for someone else. The lessons you learned in the valley become the wisdom that leads others out of theirs. This is how pain is redeemed. When it stops being a memory of suffering and becomes a message of hope. What once made you cry now gives you compassion. What once made you weak now makes you wise. When pain refines you, you no longer hide your scars, you use them to remind others that healing is possible. Pain will try to convince you to quit, but refinement teaches you to endure. Every trial strengthens your spirit, every disappointment deepens your faith, every delay builds your patience. Through refinement, you learn that not every loss is failure. Some losses are blessings in disguise. They remove what was not aligned with your destiny. You stop chasing what's comfortable and start embracing what's purposeful. You realize that growth and comfort cannot coexist, and that every step of pain is also a step toward purpose. The refining process transforms your mindset. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a vessel of purpose. Pain no longer defines your story. It becomes part of your preparation. Refinement turns your wounds into wisdom, your trials into training, and your pain into power. It teaches you to rise with humility and strength. It softens your heart yet solidifies your faith. It removes the noise of doubt and allows the voice of destiny to speak clearly. When you let pain refine you, it cannot destroy you. It can only develop you. It sharpens your focus, expands your vision, and equips you for greater things. Every season of pain has the potential to lead you closer to purpose if you choose not to let it define you. Instead of letting pain become the final chapter of your life, let it become the catalyst that launches you into the story you were always meant to live.